So I've got some YouTube confessions and questions, and I hope you'll comment in the comments section. I like the direction I'm going, but I'm not exactly sure. Like I'm at the fork in the road, you know. When you get to the fork in the road, take it, right? So if you haven't noticed by now, I'm not very technical. You know, I don't have all the fancy bells and whistles and sounds and graphics that so many of the great YouTube creators have, the great content creators. I just try to, tell a story and do the best I can with the equipment I have. Now, I am going to up my game in 2024. I did buy a little microphone here I was able to attach to my cell phone. Yeah, I know, that's so embarrassing that I do all this on a cell phone. I will probably invest in a real camera in 2024. But again, it's all part of the learning curve. Then I have to figure out how to use it, which will take me right to YouTube. All the how-to clips on YouTube. This is so embarrassing. Don't listen. I still edit in iMovie, which is a free app on the Apple computer, which is a plain Jane basic editor that I taught myself to use on YouTube. I know it very well, so now I want to upgrade to Final Cut Pro, which would enhance the quality of my videos. Through it all, I've come to know that it isn't necessarily about your equipment. Like I could go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars on cameras and tripods and audio equipment and lighting equipment and editing software, but if you can't tell a good story, they're not going to watch you anyway. So even more important is the actual storytelling capability. I feel like I'm okay in that category, and I certainly want to improve. I know I've had some audio issues with the wind coming by. Now I have a little mic that I can attach with a little windsock, so I hope that part improves. If you want to learn how to do something, you can go right to YouTube. It's all there. If you want to learn the proper way to pick your nose, you can find it on YouTube. If you're trying to fix the toilet, it's on YouTube. Everything I've learned about this industry is there. YouTube for me is a fascinating world. I absolutely love it. I find myself watching it more and more and more. I don't even watch TV anymore unless there's football on. Like me some college football, like the NFL, love it all. I waste way too much time watching football, but most of the time if I'm watching a screen, I'm watching a YouTube, whether it's a self-help video or how to do something or how to make something better. I just go to YouTube. The information there is absolutely incredible. There's a lot of script writing tutorials. Really? I don't know. I don't ever write a script. I might have some bullet points in front of me, but to direct my mind, hopefully, in a direction that will make some sense when it comes out this end. But for all the big timers, the ones with the millions of subscribers and the experts on YouTube, one of the things most of them will tell you, and this is where I seem to be a little bass-ackwards, they'll tell you that you have to find a niche, right? A niche? A niche? I don't know. N-I-C-H-E, I think it is. A niche. You've got to figure out who you are and what you're doing on YouTube. You can only pick one thing. That's all you get. Only one thing. If that's true, if you have to decide who you are, if you have to absolutely pick one thing and find a niche, I guess that's where I'm falling down, and that's the question I want to put out to my audience. They say you can't do maritime, Great Lakes maritime industry, and auto racing, and small town America, and battlefield history, or whatever. You have to pick one and move on it so that they know who you are and what you represent. Apparently, if someone comes to you and says, hey, I signed up, subscribed for the auto racing, and what do I get? The Edmund Fitzgerald? What's that all about? So am I confusing the audience by having multiple interests? If I had to choose, I think I'm toast because I love the Great Lakes maritime industry. I spent, years out there on the tug and barge, and it's part of who I am. I worked for decades in the auto racing industry, more than 30 years full time. I grew up with auto racing. My parents, my stepdad had race cars. We were at the racetrack every weekend. Auto racing is part of who I am. It's here in my heart. I'm a history geek. That's where the history mystery man thing all began because I'm a bona fide history geek. Gettysburg. I did a Gettysburg trip this year, but I don't know that I should or can post it because maybe it doesn't fit. So I'm asking you, do you think I can keep going as is? Mix it up a little bit. I like to go back and forth between auto racing and the maritime industry. Can I do that, and can I get away with it and continue to build an audience? Because I'm at that fork in the road, though. Do I have to give up this and become all of that? In my opinion, my niche is me. I'm the niche, in the way I present my information. You either find me interesting no matter what I'm talking about, or you don't. And I'm okay either way. But I don't know that I can get away with it because if you ask the experts, you only get one. Why? Now, the experts will also tell you that audio is actually more important than the actual video quality. And that I would agree. I've got some complaints with the wind noise out in the field. We can't hear what you're saying because the wind is overpowering the mic. Well, I think I have part of that solved. So there's something else out there. Some of my videos go long as the experts are telling me, hey, you know, the kid's coming up. Well, first of all, I don't have kids watching me. Well, I actually do have one. But most of my audience is the older baby boomer types like myself who apparently have longer attention spans. I don't know. But I'm hearing from the experts that the young kids coming up do not have long attention spans. So if something doesn't blow up in the first 6 seconds, you're toast. They're going to click off. You know, I don't even necessarily agree with that because I like to watch a good movie every now and then. But when I'm watching a really, really good movie, I think there are very few good movies out there. I'll tell you that. It's a Wonderful Life is a great movie. A Shawshank Redemption. If I'm watching a good movie, and let's say it's a 3-hour movie, if it's good, has me engaged, I don't want it to end. I don't care if it's 4 or 5 hours. If the movie's that good, I want it to keep going. So I don't think it's about length of video. If people are clicking off halfway through what I do or even before, I'm not doing a good enough job of engaging and keeping my audience in. I'm not telling the story well enough. So that's on me. I'm so amazed when I hear from somebody that tells me they comment on something that happened like 2 minutes from the end of my 26-minute video. And I think to myself, you stayed that long? Really? You watched the whole thing? That just blows my mind when I hear that. And that's the key. YouTube cares about 2 things. How many people are clicking on your video and how long do they stay? If you can figure those 2 things out, audience retention up to 70%, you'll blow up the algorithm. But YouTube will get your video in front of more people if people start clicking on it, if they feel like, if the algorithm thinks it's going to go somewhere, and not only do they click on it, are they staying? If they do those 2 things, then you're going to make it in this YouTube world, which is very difficult. It's really a good thing that I like my own company because you spend a lot of time alone. I do everything, soup to nuts, and it takes an ungodly amount of time to do this. I'm not discouraged. I'm going to keep doing it. One of the most fascinating things that happened to me this year was, as I said before, most of my audience is old. They're old timers like myself and baby boomers. I've been on the planet for 60 plus years, almost 64, and I feel like I've learned a few things through the journey. And I feel like I have some things to offer. I'm not necessarily going to become an advice column, but I have some examples in life that I think teach pretty good lessons. I was at Eldora Speedway this year, a few times maybe. I think it was the 4 Crown Nationals. I had done all my shooting in the pit area and running around like a jackrabbit. And I went up into the top row of the turn 3 grandstands, and I said, man, I'm going to breathe a little bit and watch me some race cars go around in circles. They had the champ cars that night, and the sprint cars, and the wing sprint cars. They had everything. It was so cool. I was sitting there, just standing there, minding my own business, and this young kid, his name was Ivan, I believe, Ivan, and he walked up to me, and he said, excuse me, sir, very confidently, and he said, are you the History Mystery Man? I said, yes, I am. And then he went on to tell me how much he enjoyed my content. And that was amazing to me because I hear from the old dogs all day long. Oh, not all day long, but if I'm going to hear from somebody, it's usually a baby boomer. But that was the first time a young human came up to me and said they appreciated my content. If I was going to say anything to young Ivan today, it would be this. It would be this example of something that happened to me. I was 17 at the time, a little older, but still a kid. I was 17. And I wanted to work in the television industry, so I thought. And I got myself an interview with the Fox affiliate in downtown Toledo. Had an interview set up. I was pumped, man, 17 years old. I go down and have the interview. And the interview, in my opinion, I thought I did really well. The guy that interviewed me, the last thing he said to me, he goes, I need you to know one thing before you leave. I said, yeah, what's that? Oh, I'll take anything. I'm ready for your advice, sir. Yes, sir. What do you got? And he looked at me and he said, just so you know, you have absolutely zero chance to make it in this industry. Huh? What? Why would you say that to a young kid? You have no chance to make it in this industry. Well, let me tell you. But years later, I was on national TV for TNN, Fox Sports South, Speed Vision, the Speed Channel. I was Arca's live pit reporter for 10 years. But at the time, I listened to him. He looked at me and said, "You'll never make it in this industry. You have no chance." You talk about bottom out of the tub, pop air out of the balloon. I was so deflated. I mean, because I'm thinking, well, he's the industry leader. He's the guy that's been in the business forever. He would know, right? He would know if I got it. And he said I didn't. And I believed him. And therein was my biggest mistake. I believed that SOB. If I saw him today, I wouldn't know if I saw him. But if I did, I might pop him in the nose. You don't do that to a kid, tell them they can't achieve something. That's the wrong message. You might say, well, you got a lot of work to do, but if you hang in there for years, you might get there. I don't know. But you don't say they have no chance of making it. That's a terrible message to send. Point is, you don't let anyone define who you are or who you become. That's up to you. You write your own script. You write the movie. Don't let someone else write your script for you, and don't take a wee little itty bitty part on the side. Co-starring? No, you're the star. You're the director. You're the producer. You write the script. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't achieve something. Okay? I don't care if it's whoever, friends, people you admire. Do not let anyone define who you are, who you become. This is your life, and make it count. You write the script. You write the movie. You determine who you become. Don't listen to all that outside noise. I wish someone would have said that to me right before I went into that interview. Anyway, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. My subscribers, even if you're not subscribed, I hope you will be one day, but even if you're not, if you're watching, I'm so grateful to all of you. It's going to be full ahead in 2024, and I hope you'll be along for the ride. It's going to be good, and I got some big ideas up here. Imagine that. Merry Christmas from the History Mystery Man.